Hey guys, and welcome back to a new week of Choirs and Cups. With me today is Affordable Dreams, and I am, of course, Darkseid. And we're bringing you here to see a week one wrap up, coming in with some power rankings and some standings. We'll kind of get into it.
Yes, we will. Hope everyone had an enjoyable first week here and things went smooth enough for them in week one. If it didn't, remember, it's just week one. Things turn around quickly in this league.
Exactly. But yeah, with that, let's get moving on, and we'll start with the power rankings.
Before we get into that, I want to kind of sort of touch base a little bit, buddy, about something here about just conduct around the league, just respect in general for people, players, management, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I've sat here through week one and I've seen a lot of noise in the shout box, discomfort from some players coming around for the league, not feeling welcome or fitting into the team, or just not being treated properly in a lot of sense. Let's keep that to a minimum this year. Let's keep it as low as possible. Let's just try to be fair to everybody and be clean. I mean, joking is fine, but there's a fine line between joking and going too far. Let's make sure we keep that mediocre and borderline. So there's less work given around to the league, to the bogs and everything else. The less work they have to do with small issues, the quicker they do things that are important, like trades and everything else.
Exactly. If you see people doing it, don't stand back. Step up, say something, bring it up to your management. And let's knock on wood and say they don't. But if your management fails, talk to a bog, talk to someone with a bit of authority. Don't let harassment or where you're really bugging a guy in a Discord because people think he's not a good player, whatever it is. Everyone's here to have fun. As much as we want to win, at the end of the day, we all have personal lives. We all have jobs. We're not looking to spend 2-3 hours a day dealing with a guy screaming and swearing at us or threatening us. Like that's not what LG's about.
Exactly. I mean, my rule of thumb is, and I don't know how the rest of you stand it, but if it's something that I wouldn't want said to my mom or my dad or my brother or my sister, I wouldn't say it to anybody else. That's the way I look at it, because that is someone's brother or sister or child. So if you wouldn't want to say it to your sibling or your parent or whatever else, then just don't say it to that person. Leave it alone.
Exactly. Yeah.
With all that though, man, I just want to touch base on that before we went too far ahead, so I didn't forget about it. If you have anything else to add, please do. If not, let's continue on with those rankings.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to the power rankings. So we're gonna kick it off with the who's hot on the forward side, and that's gonna be Affordable Dreams' wheelhouse.
Yeah, buddy, let's get rolling on this. So coming in number one today in the Who's Hot for week one, we have Death Row 9 coming in with 3 games played, perfect record for him, 3-0, 16 points, 12 goals, a +5 playing in the left wing slot, playing for the Red Deer Rebels. Great job, Death Row, taking number one this week. Coming number two for the Oshawa Generals is Willie G_Oi. Another 3-0 week for him, 15 points, 7 goals, +7, and also left wing position. Coming in for the Rush in third place is Bunny Pancakes, a 3-0 record as well, 12 points, 9 goals, +10, and playing in the center slot. Coming in for the Idaho Steelheads, I believe that is, in the fourth place is Shooting Scores, another 3-0 record, 13 points, 8 goals, +12, also in the left wing slot. A lot of left wingers taking over this top 10 here.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming in at fifth is Win Rocks from the Mavericks with a 2-0 record, 11 points, 8 goals, and a +3 playing center. So that's pretty good for only 2 games played. I mean, give him that third game, maybe he takes first place. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Good job for Win Rocks, though. Coming in from the I hate the symbol. What team is that, buddy?
For Stonewall Civ or Marquee?
Number 6.
Sorry,
6.
that's the Moncton Wildcats.
There we go. The Wildcats is Marcus, another 3-0 record, 14 points, 7 goals, +12 in a left wing slot for that guy as well. Number 7 is the Rush coming in Stonewall Civ. Civ, 3-0 record, 15 points, 5 goals, +10 in the right wing slot. So he's putting up those assists. He's being the feeder. He's doing his job in that right wing slot by making that pass happen. Good job for all them apples, buddy. And plus your 5 goals on top of it. Coming in 8 is our first defender on the list. A big dumb foot coming from the
Gatineau Olympic.
Gatineau, yeah, buddy. 3-0 record for him as well. 13 points, 10 goals, a +12. Oh, sorry, he's playing center. I thought he was defense. My mistake, folks.
And that's
total mistake.
That's one of those ones where he was a draft pick last season. So I'm curious to see if he stays down, if he puts up, 1, 2 more 3-0 weeks with 13+ points. I mean,
He could be going up.
yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a situation where he stays down.
No, yeah, I mean, it definitely going to depend on what his AHL team and NHL team already have going. If they have something already doing just as well, they may leave him down. But if not, If he continues that triumph of March, he may be that call up. So let's
Exactly.
keep an eye on that. Coming in ninth is Pepto Bismol from the Ice Dogs with a 2-0 record, 14 points, 10 goals, plus 11, playing also in that left wing slot. Last but not least, in the top 10 is Alex Rowe QC, playing for the Spirit. 3-0, 14 points, 7 goals, plus 1, playing in that center slot. So I want to say congrats to Stonewall Steve there for being the only right winger to fall in this category, and the rest being left wing centers.
Yeah, for sure. A bit of a strange thing to happen. I'm sure it'll balance out through the rest of the season. But for now, congratulations to all the left wingers who are tearing it up on their team.
Definitely. I'm just looking over the who's not here. If anyone sticks out like a sore thumb, I'm not seeing anyone in particular that I can really say doesn't belong there.
No, I'm noticing it's a lot of management on this side. You see Bad Girl QC, she's the AGM for her team. Blazing Hippie's the GM for his, or the owner, one of the two, I apologize. And Stoner DTC being an owner. So you got some management in there. But no, I don't think there's a crazy amount of... Oh, and Mr. Ratchet, the owner, sorry. I missed one there. But again, I don't see anything, crazy where we're... what the hell? This guy's a top-line player. Why is he producing so poorly? These guys all have a chance to dig their way out of it. It's week one. It's nothing.
Bad Greg can point out a little bit. His last year, she came off of what was it, 86 points or 76 points? It was a pretty big season.
65, I believe.
65. Okay, coming in week one with 0 points is definitely a rough start. So it's kind of rare to see her sitting there. But I guess that's, to me, the big notable, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. And again, it's probably going to shift throughout the season, and we'll see some different names.
Week one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to bounce around, and I'm sure she'll climb back up in those rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving forward, man, let's go to the defense. Who do we have that's coming in hot?
Yeah, so taking top spot here on defense is, I'm just going to call you Gamer7 because you got too many X's, buddy. I feel like there's a ratio you're hitting. It's a little high. But anyway, he went 3-0, 7 points. The big thing for him is the plus 12. That's impressive. For the Idaho Steelheads, who I believe are currently in first or second in their league. So obviously he's a big contributing factor to that. Coming in at number 2 is B Bricker 12 on the Hamilton Bulldogs. We're having a very strong start. Obviously he's contributing a large majority to that as well, picking up a 3-0 record, 7 points, and a plus 6 on the left D. Good for him. Sorry. At number 3 is Biggie Smugs 14, also going 3-0, also getting 7 points, plus 5. So the differentiation between these three guys is just their plus minus, right? All play lefty, all on strong teams with the Red Deer Rebels, the Hamilton Bulldogs, and the Idaho Steelheads. Then we got ITAP on first date, who also went 3-0, put up 8 points and a plus 7. So I'm curious to see why he slipped to number 4, but he's obviously having a pretty strong start. Hopefully he can build his way up and keep going from there. Number 5, Surgical from the Utah Grizzlies, coming in at number 5. 3-0, 4 points, plus 7, our first right D.
Yes, sir.
And then number 6, coming in for the Oshawa Generals, is rated R, like a pirate. He's also 3-0. All of these guys are 3-0. 6 points, a plus 9, and he played both sides week 1.
He played both sides, to say yes. Make sure you mention that. He did double it up.
Very, very versatile, which is good to see. Then
number to have.
Yep, for sure. Number 7, Izet Kronark. I apologize for butchering your name.
Call him Kronark.
Yeah. He's, again, like I mentioned, 3-0, 6 points, plus 12 on the lefty. I mean, that's a big plus minus. That's one of the, I think, the tops.
It is. That's a huge plus minus.
Yeah, especially through 3 games. Yeah, well, I mean, you do the math, and he continues that. If he continues that through a season, that's a plus 96. I don't know that you can do that, but that's a little ridiculous.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge, buddy.
yeah, for sure. Then coming in at number 8 is Working for MCA. 3-0, 4 points. Not a huge point producer as a defenseman, but a plus 10. So I'm guessing he's a bit more of a workhorse on the back end in terms of just shutting guys down and letting his offense do what they need to do.
Definitely.
Number 9 for the Screaming Eagles, Sin Crafters, coming in with a 3-0 record, 6 points, and a plus 8 on the right defense. And finally rounding out our spot is another Steelheads. They got 2 in the top 10.
Yeah, good on them.
Yeah, is Knight Rider 1, 3-0, 4 points, plus 10. I wonder if they're a pairing. If that's the case, I mean, that's a really strong pairing. If not, they've got some depth.
Pretty possible.
Yeah, it's somewhat likely, but yeah, you see a lot of, again, the left side of the ice seems to be the spot that's getting all the points. Left wingers, lefties, seems to be funneled up the left, so maybe teams will start trying to shut that side down a little bit more. But yeah, that rounds out our who's hot for defense. Who's not on...
I do want to point out quickly, before you move on too forward, that in the top 20 in offense and in defense, there is 4 Steelheads up there from Idaho. So that's great for this bench to have 4 guys on the top 20 on both sides combined.
Yeah, obviously very
strong showing by expansion team.
Yeah, very, very, very strong. Yeah, and a newer team having expanded last season, right? Now, looking at the who's not, I mean, big standouts. I don't know if there's too many. Maybe Jedi Infidel. Not expecting him to go down there after his season last season, going for 4.5, and then I believe he was only 1 million this season. But again, struggling a little bit. We'll see if he can kind of pull out of there. And again, another group of you see a fair amount of management or ownership in here where
you do
it's struggling, right?
Exactly.
And that's not uncommon to see. A lot of these guys, myself included, tend to try and build players that are better, teams that are better than how we play. You know.
I do notice that Bud 780 is sitting down there as well, and he's been on league for a long time, and there he is, in the bottom last slot, top 20 of the who is cold, sitting there.
yeah, for sure.
All right, well let's. I see nothing else way to point out there. I had to take a shot at Bud, so I've known him for a while, so there's my shot at him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, why don't you take us over to the goalies?
We're gonna go right to the goalies here, man. We're gonna come in first. From I think that's the fuel. Yeah, the fuel. Dankist Bat O. Mm-hmm. He came with a 4-0 record, 38 saves, a 0.50 goals against average, 95.0 saves on average, and 2 shutouts.
Yeah,
that's a really good showing in 4 games for him. He didn't face an awful lot of shots in the 4 games, but to still have under a goal in 4 games against you and 2 shutouts is phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think the Fuel are very excited to have him, especially being that he's a returning player.
So.
They know who he is, and for him to come out of the gate this well is great.
Exactly. Coming number 2 here for the Rush is Beer Leaguer, another 4-0 record for this guy, 52 saves, a 0.72 goals against average, 94.5 saves on average, and 1 shutout as well for the week for him. So another good showing by him, another high saves on average, and another low goals against. We got quite a few of those in the first 4 here, which is kind of nice to see this week. The goaltenders are really standing out and doing their work for their teams. Coming in for the Silver Tips, number 3, we have Max Attack 2119. Another 4-0 week for this guy, 34 saves, half a goal against average, 94.4 saves on average, and 2 shutouts. So another phenomenal week for that guy again. I mean, these top 3 are pretty close together in stats. I would say Beer League with the most shots faced. But coming in here at number 4, we have Kane Warning 09 from the Gatineau, 4-0 record, facing 80 shots this week with a 0.95 goals against average, 95.2 saves on average, and 1 shutout. So that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Under a goal in 4 games, facing that many shots.
Yeah, 20 shots a game is not a small amount.
No, it's not. So it shows he's doing his job, holding those teams in games. Maybe their defense needs to do a little more to help him back there, because after a while, that stress might get to him. Number 5, we have Dr. Oz coming out of the Nailers with 5 straight wins, 71 shots faced, 1.20 goals against average, 92.2 saves on average, and 2 shutouts for him. So congrats to that guy as well. From the ice, we have the Duke Star, 5-0, 48 saves, 1.20 goals against average, 88.9 saves on average, and 0 shutouts for him. Still a phenomenal showing with 1.2 in 5 games against 2. Good standout job. Next is Craig _D85 from the Oshawa Generals, another 5-0 record, 62 saves, 1.60 goals against average, 88.6 saves on average, and 1 shutout. Coming in next for the Tulsa Oilers. Did I get it right this week? Is it Tulsa? Tulsa, right?
Yes. Yes. Not to lose
it's Dalton Radford. Yeah, it's not to lose for once. That's right. Coming in 8th is Dalton Radford for them with a 4-0-1 record, 47 saves, a 1 goal against average, 90.4 save percent average and 2 shutouts. This guy's been known to be a stand-up goaltender and just stand on his head for teams, and here he is doing it again for the Oilers. Coming in number 9 for Valdor is Rasta, not Rusta, Rasta. 2-0 week for him. 1.0 goals against average, 90.0 save percent average, and a 1 shutout. Coming in last but not least, number 10, my boy, New Feeling QC, 4-1-0 record with a 1.2 goals against average and a 90.9 saves and average, 1 shutout. So good job on him to be standing out.
Yeah, for
Looking
sure.
over in the who's not section here, a goalie to me that I've known to be AHL for quite a long time and did really good up there was Big Whiskey 1, sitting up there for Armada with an 0-4 record start with a 4.6 goals against average, or 1.76 goals against average, sorry, and a 71.6 saves and average. So, I mean, I expect more of him, so hopefully he can bounce back this week and do a little better for them.
Yeah,
High voltage.
Yeah, there's a lot of names on this side that really stand out for you. One noteworthy is both high voltage and straight up killer, both on the Kelowna Rockets. You wonder if their stats are the defense. To have 2 goalies in that slot, you wonder if maybe it's the team system that's not favoring them, or if they're both just struggling, and that's a very unfortunate thing to have 2 of your goalies struggling.
Definitely.
Crazy Matt
Crazy
coming
Matt
in.
as well.
Yep, Crazy Matt. Exile John, former
Exile
teammates
John.
for a very short period of time on the Edmonton Toronto Kings. Yeah, again, these are guys you don't expect. Like, both Crazy Matt and Exile were both fantastic goalies last season.
They were.
So you wonder if they can turn it around and help their teams get in the right direction, right?
Right, exactly.
For sure.
I think that's all there is to point out here, though, man. If you want to move us forward,
so we're gonna skip all the way down to top thugs and most blocks. I believe was the idea. Now for top thugs, this idea is kind of, obviously you guys can figure this out on your own, but the idea is the most penalty minutes taken for one player. Now, the Sarnias thing have LR Crazy LR, 2-1-0, but 16 penalty minutes, roughly 5 minutes a game. So he's taken a major penalty every game. Is the gist of it.
Gist of it. I mean, logically, with 16, it's not that, but I mean,
that's the average.
Round up.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing for TCAR 23, having gone 1-1-1 with 16 penalty minutes. Kind of circling back though, Crazy putting up 16 pins. But still winning the majority of his games last week. So his team,
2-1 still.
Yeah, so that team must be really good at the PK, or just have outstanding scoring ability to overcome, the amount of times that they have to play down the ice, down a man rather. Then we got Egomaniac Stud taking 15 pims, going 1-2. He's got to get that sorted out. Again, all these guys in the high numbers. Ice Storm with 15. On the
1-1-1 record.
Yeah, 1-1-1 on the Spokane Chiefs. Then you got the Red Deer Rebels. Carol Burt 9, 0-2-1 with 14 penalty minutes. On the Iceman, you've got Technics 79 taking 14 pims with a 2-1-0 record.
It's still the 2-1 record, which is still
it's impressive. Well, considering the amount of time you spend in a box, right?
Right, exactly.
Pathetic on the Halifax Mooseheads coming 2-1-0, 13 pims. And last but not least, Squatches 73, 1-2-0 with 13 pims. So for the most part, these guys were taking a lot of penalties. There's 1, 2, 3 of them who aren't losing games because of it, right?
Exactly.
They're still pulling out a winning record.
Their job on the PK, helping them out at least.
Yeah, so maybe if they can kind of cut those penalty minutes back a little bit, their team won't have to worry about killing it off. They'll have a better chance of maybe going 3-0 or maintaining that same record of 2-1, which is still a pretty solid week.
It is. Let's move on to the most blocks there, buddy. And blocks can be huge in a game. Let's just say your block stops the goal, it's huge. But if your block hits you and makes the goaltender jump out of the way and goes in, it's a negative. So let's take a look at those and see who were the positive blockers and who were the negative blockers.
Yeah, so coming in at the number 1 spot, tied is BTPA for the Atlanta Gladiators, going 0-2 with 5 block shots.
That one makes you wonder if his block's coming at the wrong time. Was he making the goaltender jump too much and the block went back to the team, or was his block so good and it just didn't happen? Makes you wonder with an 0-2 record.
Yeah, for sure. Coming in tied with BTPA is Goalie Man 0439, same amount of blocks, but posting a 2-1-0 record. So, and I believe Goalie Man is a forward, if I'm not mistaken. He's a center.
I believe he's center, I believe.
Yeah, which is interesting to see a center. So I think he's probably blocking those point shots that are looking for tips. So I could see that being a very valuable tool. I think
Very
there's a differentiation
asset.
between. Yeah, for sure. Coming in,
Myself being an ex-goalie, I know myself if the puck's near my crease and you're making a block, it's gonna hurt me more than help me.
absolutely.
And that's my point to anyone else who's doing that is if it's near your goaltender, near the crease line, don't bother. Let the goalie deal with it. If it's out further, by the circle or the hash marks, go ahead and block it. He has time to adjust. But if it's right in front of him, just leave it alone. Let him deal with that.
Yeah, exactly right. But yeah, coming in number 3, Elevator, 2-1-0 for the Regina Pats, 4 blocks. Again, he seems to be doing it where it's not hurting the team. They're winning their games when he's doing it. Number 4, Highest Damon, 2-1-0 with 4 blocks. And then we notice below him at number 5 is for the Wheeling Nailers, Helitex, or Helix Tech, sorry, rather, with a 3-0 record and 3 blocks. And I believe he's a forward as well.
I think he's center as well, doing his job, making sure tips don't get through.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. If you're a centerman to block those tip shots, it's fantastic.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. Then number, what's that, 6? Scoopy, 75.
Yeah, 6.
0-2-1 with 3 blocks. Again, not a crazy amount of block shots. He might just fall into this category somewhat by default. But yeah, I mean, obviously they're not helping the team a crazy amount with 0-2-1.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Snosberries coming in at number 7, sorry, with 2-1-0 record and 3 block shots, and rounding it out is a big Dumbfoot actually with 2 blocks, 3-0, and we kind of touched up on him. He seems to be kind of all over the ice in terms of helping everyone out, putting up points, blocking shots, playing his defensive role quite well. So good on him. Hopefully the Gatineau LP can keep him down.
Exactly. I do want to point out about blocking is blocking doesn't come when the puck just hits you. You literally got to hit that L1 and block that puck proper to count as a stat as a block. If it just hits you, it's not a block. It won't count on the API unless you're hitting the L1 to block it. So this is all timing and done at the right times to do these blocks, not just bouncing off your leg or off your face or whatever. It's an actual legit L1 block.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with that being said, let's bring us over to the team rankings.
Yeah, let's go to team rankings for the power rankings here for this one. We'll do the top 10 again. I'll punch out the first 5 for you, and I'll let you follow the lead with the last 5 of the top 10.
Sure.
And we'll call this a wrapped up segment for this section. So coming in number 1 is the Bulldogs with an 8-1 record, a plus 26 in the goal differential. So that's a very good job by them. Their shot differential, they're also at a plus 52. Their PK is an 88.2, and the power play is at a 45.5. So they're doing a very good job on that PK and power play specialists, shorthanded or on the on the power play. So they're doing a good job there. The face-off differential is at plus 12, while their time on attack is only at 58 seconds. So they're averaging the same amount of time on attack basically as any of the team they play against, but they're just putting up better face-off draws, better numbers, and more goals in the net. So good job on them taking number 1 this week. Coming in number 2 is the Ice Dogs, the 7-1-1 record with a plus 30 goal differential, a plus 69 shot differential, a 46.2 power play percentage, and a 93.8 PK percentage, tied on faceoffs with a 19-minute to 26-second TOA difference. So they're hemming teams in. They're peppering shots. They're controlling the puck in the offensive zone and making it hard for the teams to do anything against them, which is really good job. Obviously, a very good team cycle out of them.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the stats, you kind of wonder, is 7-1-1 lower than what we might see coming in the next couple of weeks with those kind of stats, with power play PK and time on attack differential being so outstanding? Can they keep that
huge
up?
Power play PK percentage as well as power play is but 50%.
Yeah.
But the PK almost at 100. I mean, so that means they faltered maybe twice in all their PKs.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Coming in third is the Screaming Eagles at 7-0-2 record with a 19 goal differential, a plus 2 on the shot differential, a 40.0 power play percentage, and a 75% PK percentage with a minus 57 faceoff percentage. Total against them. So they're losing a lot of draws.
Yeah.
But they do have 14 minutes and 55 seconds of time attack. So even losing that draw isn't hurting them. They're getting the puck back and creating pressure and having guys into their own zone. Mm-hmm. So that's always a plus side to see. Coming in number 4 is this Idaho Steelheads, 7-2-0 record with a plus 16 goal differential, a plus 47 shot differential, 38.1 power play percentage, and a 69.2 PK percentage, plus 19 in the faceoffs, and a 29 to an 11-second time attack. So they're hemming teams in like crazy. That's a huge. That's almost a full game right there. Oh, half a game, I guess, right there, of time attack difference against all their teams. That's huge. Um, their P power play special teams is not the greatest, being just below 7% on the PK percentage and just under 40 at the power play. It's not horrible, but it's not great. Maybe they can pick that up with all their time attack. Who knows? We'll see what happens in week 2. Coming number 5 is the Olympics. Gatineau, an 8-0-1 record with a plus 20 goal differential, a plus 14 shot differential, an 18.2 power play percentage, which is not great, and 75% PK percentage with a minus 34 in faceoffs and a minus 3 minutes and 42 seconds time attack. So they're being hemmed in more than not, just happen to get the goals to go in when they have the time in their zone.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's one where their stats don't suggest maybe they should be as high as they are, but they're finding a way to win. Obviously, going 8-0-1 is nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, moving on from the Olympics brings us to number 6.
I believe we touched base on them earlier about their goaltenders doing a bang up job to hold them in games. So that's kind of, I think, what's happening there is that their goalies doing their job with all that time attack against them and keeping the puck on the net.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, moving on from them. Yeah, moving on from them is the 6th place team coming in with the Silvertips going 7-1-1. Now these guys have a plus 17 goal differential, plus 4, so very very tight on the shots. Through 8 games, they're getting half a shot more than the other team on average.
Right, exactly.
Their power play sitting at a 12%. That's not what you're looking for on the special teams, with a 77.8, which is a decent PK. -9 on the faceoff and plus 5 and 3/4 minutes time on attack differential. You wonder having put up this record if they can get those special teams up, if they can find a way to be stronger, or if they'll come back down to earth because they can't. That's sort of where they sit. They sit around that precipice. Number 7, the Brandon Wheat Kings. Now this team's been regarded as a really really solid squad, coming in 7-1-1. Plus 20 goal differential, plus 56 shot differential, 30% on the power play, 87% on the PK, and plus 14 faceoffs with a 20-minute difference in time on attack.
That's huge.
It is. So again, I think they're sitting at 7 for right now, but I don't think it'll be for long. I think next week or the week after we'll see them really pop back up into the higher end. And again, the top 10 is still a very solid spot to be.
It is 100%.
Yeah. Coming in at number 8 is the Oshawa Generals, going 7-2, with plus 17 goal differential, plus 18 shot differential, 25% on the power play, 88% on the PKs. Fantastic. Only plus 4 on the face-offs, so in general it's pretty tight on the face-offs. Hopefully they can kind of get that up a little bit, and only 2 minutes of difference on time on attack. So these guys are obviously transitioning quite well, right?
Very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 9, the Indy Fuel, 7-1-1 with a plus 14 in goal differential, plus 4 in shot differential. So another team that's very, very tight in terms of shots. Just getting better goaltending, obviously, right? 28% on the power play and 83% on the PK. Both solid. If they can maintain those numbers, that's good. Plus 41 on the faceoffs. They're just slaughtering teams in faceoffs.
Yeah, they're having a great time with that.
But a minus 8.5 minutes on the time and attack differential, right? That's not great. I mean, they're capitalizing when they do get the puck, but they might want to start trying to work a system.
How long until that breaks on them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you're giving up an extra 2 minutes or an extra minute to every team every game, it's not ideal. But yeah, so number 10.
It's worked so far, so it keeps going.
Yeah, exactly. But number 10, rounding out our top 10 for the team rankings, is the Drakkar team with a 6-1-2, plus 13 goal differential, -1 on the shots. Again, very, very tight with the shots. 22% on the power play and 84% on the PK. Power play could be a little higher. PK is still pretty solid. Plus 24 on the faceoffs, and 24 minutes of difference on time on attack is insane.
It is. It's huge. Huge.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I mean, that takes us out of the power rankings. That's our first week breakdown and look at that. I'm sure we'll see a lot of changes coming into week 2. we may see the same faces bounce back as well in week 2. Who knows? I want to take this time though for a minute and talk about a player who has been here for 4 seasons, and he finally got his first hat trick ever in LG. If we can you play that clip, please, Dark?
Sure. So for anyone wondering, that's Darkseid. That's myself getting my first career hat trick. And thank you for the little jab. Yeah, it only took me 4 full seasons to get a hat trick. Yeah, it eventually came. But I would like to point out.
In fairness, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to point out though, I had more goals in that game than you had points all of last week.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm a shit up for a reason, buddy. I've been saying it for 3 years.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's why I'm owner, eh?
Yeah. Oh, hey, same here, man. Same here.
But I mean, let's just point out that this is your first year, I believe, playing forward.
It is. Yes.
You've been defense every other season, so I mean, to come out on your, I think, was that your first game of the season?
Second.
Second game. So come on, your second game is playing from defense forward all of a sudden, getting a hat trick. Great job on you, man. But still,
appreciate it.
4 seasons to get that hattie. I just had to point that out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
let's move on to the standings here, buddy.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so we'll start off with the QMJ West, the Olympics holding that top spot, going 8-0-1 like we talked about. Again, really solid team. In their division, the Armada are the team that is struggling the most, having gone 1-8, so sort of a reverse of those records, having lost 6 in a row. Again, they're hoping to kind of turn it around. The QMJ Maritimes, you've got the Cape Breton Screaming Eagles coming out 7-0-2 on a 2-game winning streak, topping their division, with the Acadia Bathurst Titan falling to the last place spot in that division, having only won 2 games last week, but admittedly winning their last game of the week, so maybe they can carry that momentum going forward. Over to the QMJ East, we've got Drakkar, like we talked about earlier in the show, going 6-1-2, having lost their last game most recently, and the Charlottetown Islanders, who actually lost 5 straight. So they're swinging in the wrong direction and sitting at the bottom.
Off to a slow start.
Yeah, for sure. And rounding out the queue, we've got the Victoriaville Tigers sitting at the top of their division with 6-3 record is what I'm trying to say, with a 2-game losing streak on the board. And the bottom of their division would be the Sherbrooke Phoenix, having lost 4 straight to give them a record of 1-6-2.
Exactly. So I mean, looking overall at the QMJ race here in general, I mean, with Olympic Screaming Eagles, Drakkar taking the reins right now.
Yeah.
With 14, 16, and 17 points, they aren't far behind, or ahead. I mean, of the Tigers and the Huskies, of the Moose, Oceanic. I mean, it's all pretty tight right now. I guess right now my concern looking down is the Titans, Islanders, Phoenix, and Armada, and even the Sea Dogs. Teams we expected to be stronger this year that haven't been. Off to a slow start in week 1. Let's see if they can turn it around in week 2 and maybe help climb back in those rankings a little bit.
Agreed. And one thing worthy of note is the fact that the Tigers are currently holding a fourth place spot because of their division. So they're sitting above the Huskies, who have more points than them. So this is where it's going to come into play throughout the league, and you'll see things like the Q, the W. Every league, pretty much, you're going to see maybe teams that are ahead of another team despite having a worse record. And that's sort of where it gets interesting, right? Where it might be a battle for a divisional spot as opposed to actually, just against the team that's has a better record than you.
Exactly. Let's move on to the WHL here then, moving forward to that one. Starting off with the WHL East, we have the Brandon Wheat Kings with a 7-1 record and 1 overtime loss at 15 points on a 1-game winning streak, 39 goals for, 19 assists. 19 goals against, jeez. They're trailed closely by the PA Raiders with a 7-2 record with 14 points with a 1-game losing streak happening, 29 goals for and 13 goals against. So we'll see what happens. It's a pretty tight battle with the Moose Jaw Warriors, of course, also still not running for that 3rd place spot at 12 points, 6-3-1. Coming to the WHL Central, we have the Red Deer Rebels taking the reins in that one, are now at a 6-2 record and 1 overtime loss with a 1-point lead over the Lethbridge Hurricanes, who are 6-3. very tight races there. The Red Dead Rebels at 36 goals for and 26 against, and the Hurricanes are at 35 goals for and 21 goals against. So it's a very close battle right there for that neck and neck top place. See what happens as the weeks continue and U2 comes along. Coming in from the WHL BC division, got the Prince George Cougars with a 6-2-1-1 record.
Yeah.
13 points on a 2-game losing streak, 27 goals for and 23 goals against. So they're scoring as much as letting in, which might be a concern, but hopefully they can keep that going and pull up those tight games and continue the march. Trailing really close behind them are two teams, the Kamloops Blazers 6-3 with 4 overtime wins, and the Vancouver Giants at 5-3, 2 overtime wins and 1 overtime loss. So hopefully we'll see this continue to be exciting and tough as we go along, and maybe we'll see some bounce arounds. Looking down here at the Kelowna Rockets, though, with a 2-6-1-1 start to the season, looks like smooth Bengals are not being so smooth at this point in time.
I agree. But I would like to point out, as much as Smooth has had a bit of a slow start, he plays defense, right?
Correct.
I think so, yeah. So Smooth Dangles had 3 points last week, which I still believe is yet another player who had more points than you last week.
That's okay. That's all right. He can have those.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, I'm a Nylander fan. My player name is Nylander. He had a nice, slow, rough start to the season. I'm having the same thing. It'll bounce back. It's all right.
Yeah, for sure.
If not, oh well. That's why I'm owner.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your backpacks out. Coming to the WHL US division for our last category of WHL here with Everett Silvertips at a 7-1 record, 15 points, 36 goals for, 19 goals against. That's huge. Everett had a pretty shaky season last season. This year they're coming on strong out of week 1. Good showing for them. Very proud of to see this turnaround. Another team to point out here is the Tri-City Americans at a 5-2 record with a 1 overtime loss and and 2 overtime losses, with 28 goals for and 27 goals against. But another strong start for them, considering they had such a rough time last season. It's good to see Slow Death March turn that around and come out with a strong week 1.
For sure.
Anything else you want to touch up base there? I mean, with some of the bottom feeders?
Again, we'll look at the Spokane Chiefs a little bit. A bit of a surprising start for them, going 2-5-2. They had a much stronger season last season. The same ownership, the same management, I believe, coming back. So obviously something's gone a little bit awry from last season to this. I have faith that those guys can get it together, make some moves, sort out their room, and get it done right. But that's a team I was not expecting to see slip as far as they did. At least
right, exactly.
Yeah, but outside of that, no, not too many thoughts for the WHL. I'll take us over to the OHL, starting with the Eastern, which has our 8-1 Hamilton Bulldogs, where they've put up 43 goals for and 17 against. So they're outscoring teams 3-1 on average, which is a very good clip to do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and even in those couple 1-1 goal games, they've been 1-1. Like they're still getting it done when it's tight. Oshawa Generals only 2 points behind them, having gone 7-2, 36 goals for, 19 goals against. And rounding out the bottom end of that is the Ottawa 67s, who only picked up 1 win, and it was the first game of the season. They proceeded to lose 8 straight. They've only scored 19, and they've led in 40, so they got to really start to balance that out. And
yeah, they're having a hard time keeping that puck out of the net, and they need to help their offense out by getting that puck out and making some work easier on the goaltender, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Moving down to the OHL Eastern Central is the Ice Dogs taking top dog there, pun intended, is 7-1-1, putting up 15 points on a 2-game winning streak, 43-13 for and against for goals. Again, having a really solid start.
Yeah, doing their job, putting goals in and keeping the puck away from their goaltender.
Yeah, exactly. And then just followed 3 points behind them is the Mississauga Steelheads. Jay Hawkman, forever near the top of his conference, his league. Like wherever his teams play, they tend to do well. So I don't expect that he will fall off anytime soon. They put up 42 goals, but the big thing for them is the 34 goals against. Like they're scoring at a good clip. It's just that they're not keeping it out of their own net. So they got to find a way to sort that out. If they can keep scoring at the pace that they're scoring at, yeah, for sure. And they're on a 3-game win streak.
Maybe mix your lineups a bit and put your stronger D with the weaker line, help them be a little more defensive, and switch around maybe a little bit. Maybe that's all it needs, a little shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. Bringing us over to the Western Midwest side of the OHL, the Erie Otters taking top dog here with a record of 6-2-1, 13 points, 27 goals for, and 22 against. So really, really tight games. As you can see here, they've been in 3 separate one-goal games, having taken
Yeah, they have.
a 2-0-1 record in those. So good job on getting the big wins when you needed them most. But yeah, let's see if they can kind of
Closing out. Yep.
let's see if they can start to score a few more. Because 22 goals against isn't terrible. It's more the 27-4. That's not
Right,
quite
right.
strong
So you
enough.
can put a little pucks in.
Yeah, they're basically letting in three goals. They're scoring 3 goals a game and letting in 2. They're winning most of their games on average 3-2,
Exactly.
which is a tight game, especially in NHL 19. Now, the London Knights come in number 2, not so close, 4 points back, going 4-4-1. They've only scored 28. They've let 35 in. They're really struggling so far, despite holding second place. If they can sort of get it figured out, they're already in an advantageous spot when it comes to their standings. If they can figure it out sooner rather than later, they still have a good chance to get back into it and really push for top dog there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then moving on to the final division in the OHL is the Western West, which holds Flint Firebirds as the number 1 team with a record of 5-3-1, 11 points, 25 goals for, 21 against. So another team that's very, very close in terms of scoring. That's like a .25 goals per game difference between the offense and the defense. So really tight.
Yes.
And it shows, again, 3 games having gone to 1 goal situation, where they've won 2 of them and lost 1 of them in overtime. Following closely behind them is both the Spirit and the Spitfires, and even really the Sarnia Sting. Outside of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, who've had a rough start, that division's tight.
It is.
3 points separate first and fourth. So nothing's done yet. We'll see if one of these teams can start to separate and start to really figure out their goal scoring or defensive deficiencies, which they seem to be having so far.
My biggest worry looking at this division is looking at the Greyhounds. I mean, sitting at 1-8, 6-7, sitting at 1-8, and the Frontenac's at 2-5-2. I'm hoping these guys can turn around their weeks. And this is just the rough week 1. Every team goes through it. Some teams obviously do better in week 1 than others do, but I find week 1's always my playing ground to see who's best with whom, who does best with what, and move forward. So hopefully they figure it out this week and they come out strong.
Exactly.
Moving on to the ECHL. Coming to the ECHL main, we have out first is the Tulsa Oilers at 7-1 with 1 overtime win, 1 overtime loss, 15 points on a 4-game win streak, 31 goals for and 16 goals against. Coming out strong right off the hop there. Next, we have the Indy Fuel tied with them at 7-1-0-1 with 15 points, 5-game win streak out of them, 31 goals for and 17 goals against.
So 1 goal.
Coming close.
Yeah, 1 goal separating them. 31-16 and 31-17. 2 very, very close teams.
2 very close. And the team is really close behind in that same category would be the Wheeling Nailers at 7-2 with 1 overtime win with 14 points, 32 goals for and 18 goals against. So those 3 are pretty close together in those goals for and goals against.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to the ECHL East, we have the Idaho Steelheads coming out 7-2 with a 1 overtime win, 14 points, 36 goals for and 20 goals against. For the Kamloops Wings at 5-1 and 3 overtime wins and 3 overtime losses, 13 points on a 1-game win streak, 30 goals for and 21 against. So those are the ones leading the rankings there in the ECHL. I take a look at some of the bottom feeders here myself, and I'm kind of again concerned about the Stingrays there and their $6 million, almost $7 million goaltender. Right now they're 0-7-2, and the Gladiators are 1-6-2. I'm hoping that they can turn it around and get back into the ranking and turn things around for the team.
Yeah, and again, these are 2 teams where you see spending big on 1 or 2 players can really bite you in the butt. So you look at, for example, like you mentioned, $6.5 million on Urbane going to the South Carolina Stingrays. Now he's taken an AGM role and is a great guy to have in that kind of spot, but 6.5 is going to hinder you, especially at goaltending. Then moving on to the Gladiators, they've got, I believe, $8.5 million between Just Cause and Hades Spawn. Again, that's a lot of pressure for 2 guys who I believe are a D pair. They got to win every single game for $8.5 million.
Exactly.
And if they don't, can that team succeed without it? Do they have enough hidden talent? That's $500K prospect. Yeah. Yeah, where they can kind of sneak through. But it doesn't look like either one's having a great amount of success. Hopefully they can make some moves or some system changes to how they play and get it sorted out.
Hopefully, they said with that kind of salary cap, you expect them to win every single game and not be struggling. So if they can't, is the depth there, and what do they do with them? Can they trade them off, or if the cap's too high to trade them?
Yeah, well, and especially for someone like Mervain, who, like I mentioned, took the AGM role, he's now locked in. So they've got to find other spots to make that work, right? Where he's not involved in a trade. He physically can't be.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that pretty much rounds out our standings portion of the show. Now we're gonna take you guys over to the top scorers right now.
Just the leaders right now, kind of overview the leaders in that scoring race to see who's standing out and who's not coming in. Coming in number one, buddy, it's Martel with 18 points.
Maybe my side's wrong, but I'm seeing King Formless with 17.
Okay, I'm on the main LG page and scrolling down the shout box, and it shows the scoring leaders there. It shows it's Martel at 18.
It updated. We're good.
Yeah, okay. And King Formless at 17. There's a lot of 17s, a lot of three-way ties there.
Yes.
But we do have Martel number one there. NewTube, also from the comments at 17. King Formless at 17 from the Royals. Steel 243 from the Hurricanes at 17. Perplex Deficit from the Idaho Steelheads at 17. Do you want to take us on the last five?
Yeah, so before we touch onto that, I'm going to mention Perplex Deficit. 4 games played, 17 points. Now I'm wondering if I believe there was a mix-up in terms of stats being doubled up. I'm not sure that he had those full 17 points in 3 games or if he had them in 4, so we'll leave that where it is. Take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, coming in at number 6 is Death Row, left winger, 16 points, 3-0. Number 7, the GM for the Niagara Ice Dogs, G. Campbell, 2-0-1, 16 points, putting up a lot of assists. Well, pretty equal actually. 6 and 10's not crazy difference. And again, another guy who's played 4 games based on this stat page. So I wonder if that's going to get adjusted based on some issues in score input. But going undefeated, we'll say, with 16 points, 9 goals, 7 assists. Willie OG on the Oshawa Generals for number 9. Undefeated, 15 points, 7 goals, 8 assists, very even across the board. And then last but not least for our top 10 is Cloutier, 10, left winger, also undefeated, putting up the exact same point totals as Willie G with 15, 7 goals, 8 assists, straight across the board, right?
I guess it's the first 9. I guess 10, but there's a lot of ties, so it shows 9, right? But a very close race in week 1. I'm excited to see who pulls ahead, who separates, who falls off, and there's someone new jump in these rankings going through weeks 2, 3, 4 on to 8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Now, we wanted to touch upon any of the major trades that kind of went through last week. Now, I've got a couple here that I think are a little more noteworthy. Not massive. We didn't see any huge trades, sort of like what you and Troubled Worm, I believe, pulled off last season with the Niagara Ice Dogs and the Wichita Thunder exchanging superstar talent in the CHL and multiple
Nothing
guys.
major yet.
Yeah, but a couple noteworthy ones here for me is Cable 72, formerly on the Kootenay Ice, going over to Oshawa for Ask About Me 84 and Wazarino. Interested to see what the move there was about. I know Cable and Raz go back a ways. I don't know if he was underperforming or if he was unhappy on the team. Interested to see, and if the Oshawa Generals, who are obviously having a strong start, can capitalize on the fact that Cable had a career season last year, putting up, I believe, 69 points in his games last season and with the Screaming Eagles.
Had a very good season.
Yeah, for sure. Outside of that, we got Carlson is God. Everyone remembers him from last season, I believe, breaking the record for most points in a single season for LGCHL. A draft pick who has not been called up. He's still sitting in the CHL. Didn't play week 1. He's been traded to the Kelowna Rockets from the Niagara Ice Dogs in exchange for Wide next season, who I believe has been traded, I want to say, like 5 or 6 times now. So I'm interested to see kind of what happens with him.
In less than a week, that's a heck of a lot of move.
That is, yeah. So maybe he's a really good player that everyone's just trying to use him to jockey for something they really want, whether it be defense or forward. But yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing going on there. Um, then outside of that, again, another one coming from the Kelowna Rockets, receiving St. Louis Cujo and Keegan Mombo, two very good players, but I don't know if Keegan can stay. Especially
If
after
he
the
does
points.
trade him, that's a very, very good trade for them. Very smart trade. It'll be a huge pick to a struggling team.
Yes, it is.
But I think, again, the question, like you said, is does this guy stay down? I don't see it. He's too good to be down here, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's a big trade. I mean, they sent four guys back in T-Bod, Scotian, Batcon, and Landon Blues. Those are four decent to solid players in exchange for Keegan and St. Louis Cujo. So we'll see if Keegan stays down. This could be a pretty fair trade if he gets called up.
If not, they got swindled.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how long and if he does stay down, right? And again, another trade coming in through the Kelowna Rockets. Their $5 million defenseman Ace Siciliano traded away for Avenged Joker. So interesting. After 1 week, they spent $5 million on this guy. Was he not gelling well with the team? Is he having issues on the ice? I'm not going to speculate, but that's an interesting deal. A fair amount of the guys who've gone quite expensive, you will see have moved by now. You look, for example, we kind of touched upon it a little bit with the Portland Raiders guys. Or sorry, not Portland, Prince Albert Raiders guys. When we did our interview with them the other day, they talked about moving on from Insane Cheat Code, another guy who I believe was like 5.75, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
expensive contracts being moved early and often.
Now, speaking of insane cheat codes, where did he go to in the end?
He ended up going to Tay Puner's team down with the Cincinnati Cyclones.
And how did he do this week?
You know what? That's a really good question.
That's something that's been kind of making me wonder, because that was a big waiver and a big claim with that kind of contract. I'm just curious to see if it was a good move by the Raiders or did they make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know that it's what they were looking to move him for. I believe it's not something for us to judge. I don't think the move was for a lack of skills. I think there was some stuff in the locker room. And again, if you guys who are watching this want more information on that, the Portland Radio, goddamn, Prince Albert Radio guys are posting this weekly where they do their interviews and stuff. So if you want more information on that, we touch upon that in the interview. It's in the forums. Go check it out. But yeah,
please check it out. We were their guest this week, so check it out.
So Insane Cheat Code is
on IR.
Yeah, and on TC, which is a bit of a weird combination.
Yeah, he did play 3 games looks like this season, though.
Five. He put up 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists.
5 points, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, with a -2, a -46, 6 penalty minutes. I mean, not a fantastic week. I mean, not bad by any stretch, but just not what they were looking for. I'm guessing in terms of his cap space, right? So I mean, maybe the Raiders. I'm going to stop saying the city because I can't get it right. The Raiders made the right choice.
PA, buddy, PA.
Yeah, PA. There we go. Let's just call it PA. Yeah. So again, maybe it might have been a really smart move by them, right? We'll kind of see as the time wears on. Does he stay on TC?
It might have been a nice bold move by them, exactly.
Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
See. And him being an IR is already to me like what's going on there type of dealio. But we'll see. It's still early in the season.
It's very strange to see a guy get waived and then immediately file for IR shortly after. It's a strange combination, and I'm sure it'll unfold for us as the season wears on. Me too. Final sort of noteworthy trade, again, this isn't a humongous like blockbuster deal, but it's noteworthy for me. Mysterious 420, Martin, and Silent Trauma 55 all being moved to the Ottawa 67s in exchange for Gumster 09. Now Gumster's been in around those Pats for the longest time. I know that they're good buddies he's good buddies with the ownership and the management on that side. I know he's an amateur. I don't believe he's more than $500K. I'm interested to see if he can stay down. Obviously a pretty solid player. So a good pickup for them if he stays down. I know Mysterious and Martin and Trauma, their cap space added up pretty quickly. So
yes,
they might have been looking to free up some space. So
I'm just reading a message here on our Twitch here from Laced Up Rocket saying Equires and Cops Insane is in the show now. Check news under him. I don't know what you mean by in the show now.
I think he means he went to the NHL. Sorry, who's Insane?
insane cheat codes, I believe they're talking about.
Oh, I see. Let me give that a look. I mean, on IR after being called up is also weird as hell. However you slice it, it's still a weird transaction.
It is.
Let me look down here. Okay, so insane cheat code has not been called up, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any other call up on him either.
Nope. And yeah, he hasn't played a game in the. How did he play 2 games? Oh, he ECU'd, yeah. I mean, he might have been called up. He put up 7 points in 2 games with the Stockton Heat last week. A -1 going 1-1. I mean, yeah, maybe he has been called up. It's just strange to see both the IR tag on him.
Exactly.
And a call
exactly. Kind of a weird scenario in my eyes, but thanks for that info. We appreciate it. If that is the case, good luck to him in the A.
Yeah.
But like I said, that IR kind of baffles me a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, okay, so that covers the majority of what we wanted to talk about. What we want to kind of do for you guys now is give you a bit of a clip on some of the top plays. So before I roll this out for you guys, we're looking for suggestions. We're looking for video clips that you guys have saved. Go back to your past streams or clip it while you're playing. That really cool goal, that massive hit, that big save. We're looking for these. The more you guys send us, the better they're going to be, the better the chance you have of getting on the show with these clips.
Backtracking quickly on insane cheat codes, I'm looking at his news here, and he was called up today at 2:18.
Oh, okay, and then immediately put on IR. Or was he put on IR before that?
IR, I'm not seeing anything about the IR on his news, so it had to have been something just recent. But yeah, he definitely was called up today.
Strange. Well, good luck to him up with the Stockton Heat, and then it's very unfortunate and a smart move by the PA guys to move him down. I mean, I figured with 5.75 that was not a risk for a call-up, but obviously Stockton needs the help, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, maybe they had cap to spare because they bid it really low. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. But again, guys...
Yeah, let's go on to these clips. For future reference, guys, you can post clips to us either individually or when the magazine comes out, you can post clips in there. We'll get them there. There's also, I believe, is there not a place on the forum somewhere you have, Dark, 4 clips to go as well? Yeah,
so there's a fair amount of you guys have joined, and I want to say thank you to you guys. A lot of you guys have joined the screenshot Discord for LGCHL that Merbane has put up for us. Thank you again for reaching out, but you can also put your clips in there. You won't likely be able to upload the clips into the Discord on its own. They'll likely be too large. You can use Google Drive, you can use Dropbox, you can personal message us. However you want to do it is by contacting us, finding out what we want, what we're looking for, and we'll kind of communicate with you. Again, the more
you guys
input...
could, with your clips, just actually clip them. 17 seconds, 20 seconds maximum, as quick as possible. Nothing too long.
Yeah.
Send us that clip so we can compile them into a collage, make our own little video out of them, and we'll play them each week. This week we had very few in, so we kind of did the best we could, but we're hoping that more of you send us videos to keep continuing this with more and more plays to put in. So without further ado,
here are the top plays for week 1.
With the baptized. Children, the best thing they ever did in this life was let me live. Digging swiftly out a hill, and it helps me save myself. Cookie spoons on every wall, genocide, lunch a hole, tailgate needles and the prayer, smearing shit everywhere. Why else could you need you taking that right thing? Why?
All right, guys. Yeah, that's our top That's our top plays of the week. Sorry, I just read one of the comments and chuckled. But yeah, no, those are our top plays for the week. And again, yeah, like we said, the more involvement you guys get, the better it's going to look. The more likely you're to see a variety of teams and stuff. The more we have to rely on our own resources and time. Again, we put a lot of effort into the show, so we don't have the time to sift through every single one's games and check all the goals and that sort of thing. The more suggestion you get from you guys, the more involved you can be, and the more the show's going to show it, right?
And once again, it's mentioned that not all clips will be used. The majority will be, but if they aren't used this week, they will be used for future things like playoff hype videos, anything we can think of that involve a new video, including you guys' clips. Because they're not played on our weekly top plays, that we played somewhere in our show at some point in time and used future models and updates.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I did get a little comment in there asking for the Discord link. If you're still watching the show, I'm going to go through the forum posts here and show you where the link is for Murbane's Discord and sort of the explanation of the rules of what he kind of expects for you guys to do, right? So where it says screenshots wanted media should be the fifth post down on the second page. You can go in there, there's a Discord link, and Murbane does a good job of outlining what he wants when it comes to screenshots to be used for the magazine, and you can also use that Discord to send us the clips. So right here, see where I'm pointing at? You click on that, put your stuff in, join the Discord, get in there. I am not neglecting my meowing cat. I don't have a cat.
I don't have a cat either.
That is weird.
They're saying earlier they keep hearing a door open and closing and a dog in the background.
Okay, so my chair is squeaking, but good guess on the door. Yeah, my chair is squeaking. I apologize for the noise, but I'll do it a couple times for you guys just for fun. But yeah,
I think that kind of wrapped up our show this week. Though it's not as long as past shows. We're trying to cut down on our long times. Hopefully next week we'll have more to talk about, maybe some guest appearances. We'll see how that goes along. TC Dev game should be starting up this week, as we have Smooth Angles taking over as TC Dev. He's going to be working through and getting those games up and running for you TC guys ASAP here and getting you some exposure along the league. And we'll follow up on that next week as well with some more intel about how to get more involved with the TC games, how to sign up for games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So in the meantime, thank you, Smooth, for stepping up and taking that role and helping us out with that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, again, the show's a little bit shorter than we've done in the past. We're trying to get away from the 3-hour shows, right? Our weekly shows are gonna be a little bit shorter, but we will still have interviews, maybe some broadcasted games here and there, and kind of bring you guys as much content as we can.
Yeah, I think week 3-ish we'll start looking at maybe doing some commentary, which is a good mark to me. It's hitting almost the midway season. And coming up week 3, week 4, so if you guys want a game stream commentated on, write myself or Dark, hit us up. We're more than glad to do, as long as we aren't playing our own game that night. We're definitely glad to do it. And we're looking for big games. We're not looking for games that are going to be blowouts. We're looking for games that are, number 1 is number 2 or something like that. We're looking for really, really intense games to take care of if possible.
Yeah, for sure. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. If you have anything you want to talk to us about, hit us up. We'll definitely get back to you if we have the time and that sort of thing. But yeah, again, have a good week, guys.
Have a good week too, everyone. Let's get it rolling. Puck drop soon. In the meantime, we're out of here. Peace. Keep it real.